There is a famous quote by Charlie Munger where he says the first 100K is a B, but you have to do it. Even if it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that has not been bought with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on your first 100K. I used to think that was just a typical billionaire hyperbole, but standing here today, right around the 58K mark, I finally understand what he meant. Getting to 58 grand took years of systematic, boring discipline. It was built on a 9-to-5 grind, navigating traffic on the expressway, and sacrificing immediate gratification to buy tiny fractional pieces of great companies. But here is the harsh truth. $58,000 is a weird milestone. It's enough money to feel real, but it's not enough to change your life yet. Today we're mapping out the exact blueprint to cross the second half of this journey. We're going to look at the exact tactical shift I'm making in my portfolio and why the math says this next $50,000 is going to play by an entirely different set of rules. First, we need to break down my income. I consider myself a low-income individual compared to my peers in the US, but from where I live, I'm slightly above the average. I currently make $36.6K a year. Out of that amount, I invest 10% pre-tax into my 401k, which is $3,660 a year, and I receive an employer match of 4%, which is free money of $1,464 a year. I invest 21% into my brokerage account, which is $7,680 a year, making a total amount with a match included of $12,805, which is 35% of my income. Now, there is a lot to reflect here. When you take a look at the percentages, 35% is a lot. For someone reaching mid-30s and investing 35% of his income, it is considered an elite tier savings rate. But the part that discourages me is the income. $36,000 a year is not cutting it. You see, from where I'm from, $35,000 a year is considered slightly middle class for one income. But the amount that is taken out for investing, which is almost $13K, makes this grind a very, very slow one. It is quite a hard spot for me because this income comes from a job that requires me to go to an office. Between preparing for work, commuting, traffic, and the usual stuff from the 9 to 5, it makes my Monday to Friday a 12-hour day. By the time I get home, I'm completely exhausted to the rate that I force myself to go to the gym because at the end of this journey, there's no point in investing if I have no health. Job opportunities are scarce and side hustles are not as scalable as I want them to be. So for now, I'll just have to continue grinding until new opportunity arises. Moving on, we need to understand where the money is invested because returns affect how fast you reach your milestone even if the impact is minimal. I have currently around $58,000 invested and this is how it is distributed. $20,000 is in my 401k and this is invested 100% in a low-cost ETF that follows the S&P 500. This is a no-brainer and it should be the foundation of every retirement journey. The other account will be my brokerage account, which has $38,000 invested. This is more of a higher risk portfolio oriented in the combination of growth, stability, and appreciating income. Both accounts are shown in full transparency on this channel in case you haven't subscribed and want to follow future updates. Now we need to look at the assumptions because even if returns make a minimal impact on your 100K journey, it can shave off some months and allow you to reach the milestone quicker. Alright, so the worst case scenario is 0% return. The market stays flat, so it will take me 3 years and 4 months to reach 100K. To some, this number might be higher. The reason why it's only 3 years in my specific scenario is because of my high savings rate. Next, we have a 5% return. Even if it's a subpar return, again, my high savings rate allows me to reach the milestone under 3 years. Now we have the baseline, 8% return. The steady, reliable compounding of dividend reinvestments and steady growth. This will take me 2 years and 10 months. And last, a bull run of 12% return. This is a heavy market tailwind that chases about 3 months of your timeline compared to the baseline. With this return, I should be able to reach the goal in 2 years and 10 months. So on average, regardless of the return, it's safe to say that it will take me around 3 years from today to reach 100K. Despite the outcome, I want to add that don't let the returns fool you. They look like they don't matter, but they actually do. These are assumptions with a starting point of $58,000, not zero. So returns do matter and you should always strive for inflation beating returns. If the goal was a different number, let's say 1 million, then the timeline will look different and you will see a huge difference between returns. So again, don't let returns fool you in this scenario. They do matter. With that being said, I also need to think long term, because reaching 100K is not the end of my investing journey. It's just a big milestone. Considering that long-term returns actually matter, I might need to revise my contributions. Year to date, the S&P 500 is returning 8.70%, while my brokerage total return is 6.15% year to date. And judging that from my contributions, 14% goes to the S&P and 21% goes to my brokerage, these are the options. Option 1 is to keep everything as is. I will reach 100K within 3 years, but judging at their returns long term, will my brokerage account be able to beat the S&P 500? We don't know. I do have a strong confidence in my investing philosophy, but for the past 5 years, the market has been doing whatever it wants. Option B is to rebalance my savings rate. 35% in total and 21% is going to the brokerage account. I could probably reduce my brokerage percent and increase my 401k, but still remain at 35% overall savings rate. Option C is to increase my 401k without reducing my brokerage account contribution, meaning that I will go over 35% in savings rate. This is one where I'll have to sit down, run a budget, and see if I can safely increase the contributions. I should be expecting a pay raise soon, so that will lift my dollar amount contribution to my brokerage account if I leave it untouched. However, increasing it 1 or 2% could unlock some pack-a-punch increase to the overall net worth past 100K mark. There is no rush in making a decision exactly right now, but it is something to have in consideration for the future of my investments. If you enjoyed this type of video, please hit the like button. If you want to follow along my 100K journey or see my monthly portfolio updates, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.